Hey guys, welcome to my pre-calc class. We are going to begin this course with an algebra review. Now if you're in my class, hopefully you have done this review packet already, and now it's time to watch the video and check your work and see how you did. So our first section here, we want to do this without a calculator. We want to simplify each of these expressions. We want to evaluate them using order of operations. So remember, order of operations. Okay, we've got parentheses first, then exponents, okay, then multiplication and division. Now it's important to keep in mind that multiplication and division have the same priority. So we just do those from left to right. Same with addition and subtraction. They have the same priority, so we just do those from left to right. In number one, there's no parentheses, there's no exponents, but there is multiplication. So we're going to do 2 times 3 first. So we've got 1 plus 6, and then 1 plus 6 is 7. Okay, number 2 also has multiplication and division. It has multiplication as our first thing, 2 times 3 again. So now we've got 1 minus 6, and 1 minus 6 is negative 5. Okay, now if you didn't follow order of operations, you definitely would not get the right value for your final answers here. Number 3, 6 divided by 2 times 3, it has multiplication and division. Even though multiplication is listed first here, we do them left to right. They have the same priority, so we're going to do the division first. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. Number 4, 10 times 3 divided by 2. Again, multiplication and division. We go left to right. 10 times 3 is 30. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Number 5, 7 minus 5 plus 1. We've got addition and subtraction. They have the same priority. We go left to right. 7 minus 5 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Okay, number 6, we've got some fractions. So in order to combine these fractions with addition or subtraction, we have to find a common denominator. So we've got a 2 over 1 here. The lowest common denominator is going to be the first common multiple of 5, 1, and 3, and that is 15. So 5 goes into 15 3 times, so we're going to have to multiply top and bottom by 3. So that's going to be 9/15. 1 goes into 15 times, so we're going to have to multiply top and bottom by 15, and we'll get 30 over 15. And then 3 goes into 15 5 times, so we'll have to multiply top and bottom both by 5, and we get 5/15. Okay, now we can add and then subtract. We can just go straight across and do it all in one step. We've got 9 plus 30, and that is 39, and 39 minus 5 is 34, so we have 34/15, and that cannot be simplified. And in pre-calculus, we're going to leave things in improper fraction form. It's much easier to work with improper fractions than it is with decimals or mixed numbers, so we'll keep it just like that. Number 7, 3/5 times 2 divided by 1/3. Same numbers, different signs. Multiplying and dividing do not need common denominators. So we're going to make that 2 over 1, and we're going to multiply. We'll multiply these first two fractions straight across. 3 times 2 is 6. 5 times 1 is 5. So we've got 6/5 times, and we're going to take that division and turn it into multiplying by the reciprocal. So instead of divided by 1/3, it's going to be times 3 over 1. So dividing a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. And now we'll multiply straight across. 6 times 3 is 18. 5 times 1 is 5. Number 8, we need to do the division first. So we're going to change that to 1/3 plus 3/5 times, and this is 2 over 1. We're changing it to multiplying by the reciprocal, so that is times 1 over 2. Now we'll do the multiplication before we add. So we've got 1/3 plus 3 times 1 over 5 times 2, so that's 3/10. Now the lowest common denominator, the least common multiple of 3 and 10 is 30. So I'm going to have to multiply top and bottom here by 10 to get 10 over 30. And I'll multiply top and bottom here by 3 to get 9 over 30. And then when I add those, I get 19 over 30. Okay, number 9. Okay, so I've got division and multiplication. I'm going to go left to right. So I've got x over 5, and I'm going to change this dividing to multiplying by the reciprocal. So this is x over 1. Its reciprocal is 1 over x times x over 3. Okay? Now, I can multiply these first two, and when I do that, I see these are going to cancel. So I'm just going to have 1/5 times x over 3, and now I'll multiply across top and bottom and get 1 times x is x, 5 times 3 is 15. So now on number 10, I've got 3 over x times 2 over x. I'm going to do that multiplication before I do division, and that's over 1. I see a couple of x's that are going to cancel. So I've got 3 times 2, which is 6, over 1 times 1, minus 1/3. Okay, now 1 and 3, their lowest common denominator is going to be 3. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom here by 3, and I'll have 18/3 minus 1/3. And I can subtract across the numerator 17/3. Okay, next up I have exponents to deal with. I need to take care of that exponent right there. I don't want a negative exponent. So I'm going to fix that. So x over 5 divided by, and this is x to the negative 1 over 1. If I want to change a negative exponent, I'm going to move it from the numerator to the denominator, which leaves nothing on top, so the top is 1. Then the bottom becomes x to the positive 1 power divided by x cubed over 3. Okay, then I'm going to do this first division by changing it to multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, so I've got x squared on top over 5 times 1 is 5. Okay, then I'm going to change this division to multiplication by the reciprocal, 3 over x cubed. And before I do the multiplication, I see I've got an x squared here and an x cubed here. I can cancel out x and another x, so x squared is gone, and this x to the third power, 2 of those are gone, so I now have x to the first power. Okay, so across the top I've got 1 times 3, and the denominator 5 times x. Okay, number 12. I'll do this multiplication first. I've got over 1, so I've got 3 times the square root of x over 5 times 1 times, and I will do times the reciprocal, 3 over 5. When I multiply the numerators, I get 3 times the square root of x times 3, that's 9 times the square root of x, and then the denominators 5 times 5 is 25. And then number 13, I'm going to make that over 1. I'm going to turn it into multiplying by the reciprocal, the square root of x over 5 times 1 over the square root of x divided by 1/3. I see I can cancel out those square root of x's, and I get 1/5 when I multiply these, times the reciprocal, 3 over 1, 1 times 3, 5 times 1. Okay? Then I'm dividing some fractions. When you have a fraction over a fraction, you can change it to multiplying by the reciprocal. A quick shortcut, though, is to do an outer loop, multiply those, and get 9. And then an inner loop, 5 times 1, and you get 5. Okay? Bigger loop always wins. It always ends up on top. Okay? Now the division is right here in the middle every time. Here I've got 3 over 1. So I've got 7 times 1. The outer loop, that comes out on top. The inner loop, 2 times 3, is 6. Okay, now this one I think is probably the trickiest one. This is 2 over 1, so my outer loop is 2 times 5. The inner loop is 1 times 3. And then my last one on this page, my outer loop is 3xm. My inner loop is 7 times 2 is 14x cubed. I can do a little bit of simplifying here. I can cancel out one of the x's. So I've got 3m over 14x squared. And I'll end this video after page 1. We'll just do one video for each page.